So let's have a quick listen to the main sort of bulk of the beat that I've created. So you can see it all here. It's not too much to it. It's quite a simple sort of arrangement. But here's the basic main beat. You might argue I've gone too far in being inspired by Stormzy's and Ed Sheeran's track "Take Me Back to London" and slightly ripped it off, but maybe I'm getting away with it. You can decide. So here's the main pattern. So as I said, first thing I wanted to do was write a main riff. And then I felt like this riff would underpin the whole track, and then I could just build stuff around it. So if you see here, I've got what we call an instrument track called main riff. Really, I like to colour things so I can visually just see. So I was going with my main riff. I'm going to go with pink, and I can even just colour this pink. It should be. There you go. So that's pink. My main riff's going to be pink, and I can just visually I can see that. So an instrument track is a MIDI track basically that is using synthesizers built into the software to make the sounds. So next to me here, just off shot, I've got keyboard, piano. There's many different ways to make riffs. So a lot of the time they're made on a synthesizer. They can be made on guitars or live instruments like that. You can even do sample-based music where you get samples from somewhere else and you loop them. My favourite way to make beats is to make my own riffs, and when I'm doing this sort of electronic music, it's going to be synthesizers that do it. So I'm using this instrument track here. So within your software, you'll have to make a new instrument. Where you can do it in Pro Tools is you go right click, new, this will come up. I want it in stereo, instrument track, and then name it whatever you want to name it. As you can see, I've already made one, so I'll just get rid of this one. And then here it is. And on an instrument track, you need to put a instrument, otherwise it's not going to make any sounds. So in Pro Tools, it's the way you do it. Got this drop down here, we've got instruments. These are just some basic synthesizers. And at this stage, I know I'm not going to get the perfect sound. I am just not going to get the perfect sounding synthesizer now, but I'm not bothered about that, because what I'm more bothered about is writing the riff. And if I get bogged down in trying to find the perfect synthesizer, I'll just lose all my creativity and then eventually give up and go and have a sandwich. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find something that's ballpark. So taking inspiration from Take Me Back to London, there was some sort of pizzicato string sound. So strings, pizzicato hall, fine, that's cool. Now if I arm the track, and every piece of software will have a little arming tool like this, and you click on it and it will flash red. Now if you're all set up properly, if you have a keyboard attached to your computer, when you play it, you can hear your synthesizer will work. So I sat down for maybe about half an hour and I set about writing my main riff. And I was very inspired at the time by the track, so I knew in my head the sort of thing I was going for. And I ended up with something like this. Okay, so you can sort of see the basic. That wasn't exactly right because I can't really remember how I wrote it. But as you can see here, this is what I played in on the keyboard. So what I might do is we'll just play in Let's get the click working. So every piece of software will have a click or a metronome. So you remember I set my BPM to 136. Well, if my click, which is down here, is armed and ready to go, when I hit play, you'll hear that. So that's what I've got to play in time with. So I sat down and wrote this riff. So now I've got to play that to the click, in time with the click. So it takes a few attempts. I went wrong. Let's try again. Okay, so I've done one sort of loop of the riff. Now you can see here, this is what I recorded. I want to turn my I'll leave my click on for a second. So you can see this is what I just played. This first bit here is where I messed up, so I can just select that and delete it. Here is that riff that I thought I played that okay. Now if you look at it, can you see all the little lines? This is the grid of what's exactly in time. And what you can see is I was a bit excited, so I've sort of played early. All of these are early. Then I went a bit late, and then I sort of got it together towards the end. Now the beauty of using MIDI is we can fix this. I want this bang in time. I want in this particular track, I just want it to sound really clinical and bang in time. So what I can do, I can select them all, and then depending on your software, you'll have a quantize function. So you'll have to figure out on your piece of software how you quantize something. All you've got to do, if you don't know how, is just Google it. If you're using Logic, how do I quantize MIDI in Logic? If you're using Ableton, how do I quantize in Ableton? In Pro Tools, because I've been using it a long time, I know Alt and 0 brings up this quantize window. Now, as long as I've got all these MIDI events selected, I can quantize. I've got it set to the right settings. You'll have to, I can't tell you exactly how to quantize. It's something you're going to have to learn how to do by yourself. But I know on this particular track, I want it set to eighths. And now when I hit apply, watch all these MIDI events move. Did you see that? I'll undo it and do it one more time. Watch this as I hit apply. Oh, like magic, the computer's sorted out all my dodgy playing. Down here is what we call the velocity. Just here. These are what we call the velocities, which is how hard I've played the note on the keyboard. So if I play it really softly, it's really quiet. If I play it really hard, it comes out louder. And these, it's just telling me how hard I played it. And again, in this particular track, I want it all this. I just want it loud, basically. I want it loud and in time. So I've got it in time. Now, if I just turn all these velocities up to full, I've now got this riff exactly in time and as loud as I can make it. So you can see that riff's now in time and all the velocities are equal. So now if I come out of my MIDI event window and back to my arrange page, I can see right here, this is what I recorded. So what I want to do now is I just want to cut that to a nice loop size. There you go. So then it is. And then I can just drag that where I want. And if I wanted, I can copy and paste it. Again, within your software, you'll have to learn how to do these things if you don't know how, but just Google it. It's all out there. Someone would have made a YouTube video about how to copy and paste things in Pro Tools or whatever software you're using. So that's how I made that riff. And if we go back to the one I'd previously recorded, I now want to unarm my instrument because I don't want to record over what I've done. And you can see this is the entire riff that I recorded. So that riff's an 8-bar riff, and that's what I'm going to base the whole of my song around. Um,